In July 2012, I traveled to the Niantic River to see what might be the last undeveloped mile of coastal shoreline in Connecticut, and to meet with members of a local group that wants to keep it that way. Save the River, Save the Hills is dedicated to preserving and promoting the health of the river so that people can continue boating, swimming, clamming, and fishing here without fear of health risks. To that end, one of the group's main goals is reducing the amount of pollution in the river through public education, which was one reason for my visit. The best way to get to know the river is to get on the river, so I borrowed a Hobie pedal drive kayak from Three Bells Marina, which offers convenient access to the river as well as an on-site kayak and SUP rental center. Three Bells owners Toby and Libby Russ understand the importance of a clean river and worked hard to achieve Clean Marina State certification for their facility since purchasing it 7 years ago. After hopping in the kayak, I left Smith Cove and pedaled upriver, and soon spotted the distinctive blue-hulled sailboat belonging to longtime Niantic River champion Fred Grimsy. Ahoy, Fred!
Morning.
And fellow kayakers.
Hello! We all made it. Amazing.
Well, quite a crew you've assembled. An avid sailor, Grimsy has long been concerned about the health of the Niantic. Especially troubling is the high levels of harmful bacteria, which sometimes force the closure of local beaches and shellfish beds. Grimsy was a driving force behind the acquisition of a local pump-out boat and participates in water quality sampling along the river.
When I say bacteria, we test 4 spots along the river here every Monday for enterococci, which is the sort of signal bacterium for swimming.
Right.
It's the bacterium that they test for at the town and municipal and state beaches.
Where does that come from, primarily?
It comes from the guts of animals and humans.
Right. Yeah. So would it be a result of failed septic systems,
it would.
and also a lot of ducks and geese? People think they're so nice to have around, but that's pollution, right?
Exactly. And now we've lived on this river for 52 years, and we've seen tremendous change in weather patterns. This river used to freeze over 2 feet thick.
Really?
Now you barely get skin ice for a couple of days during the winter.
So the river stays warmer, it sounds, or heats up quicker.
And one of the byproducts of that is the Canada geese now winter over. They used to fly south in the winter. Now we have I counted a flock of 72 of them a couple of weeks ago.
And that produces a lot of effluent, shall we say.
They each defecate about 2.5 pounds at a time. It's really sort of scary.
Well, if you've ever gone to a beach where they've been, you know what kind of mess they can make.
Exactly.
But all that stuff runs off into the river, and that's bacteria.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. Now, what about nitrogen runoff? That's another culprit that we hear a lot about, the nitrogen creating algae blooms and choking off the natural bottom vegetation. That's also a problem, isn't it?
It is a problem, and that's what the nitrogen work group is studying. The big problem is the runoff is so hard to pinpoint. It's called non-point source pollution for a reason. The low-hanging fruit of pollution causes has been plucked over the years. Large plants with big fat pipes discharging are easy to spot and easy to mitigate.
Sure.
Whereas, as Pogo said, we have met the enemy and he is us. He is all the people who throw stuff on their lawns, who wash their car in the driveway on hard surfaces.
It's like it's a death by 1,000 cuts.
Exactly.
Lots of little sources, but everybody's got to sort of do their part that live in this watershed to make it work, right? To clean it up.
Yeah, and that is a big problem to reach people. This is wonderful.
Reducing the amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, bacteria, and other pollutants is a tough battle given the amount of houses and lawns that already exist along the river. And that's why Grimsy's group is fighting hard to prevent the deforestation of what is the last mile of undeveloped waterfront on the Niantic.
And we have
Save the River, Save the Hills Vice President Deb Mosier-Dunn explains.
Preserved 423 acres.
Hi, I'm Deb Mosier-Dunn, Vice President of Save the River, Save the Hills here in Waterford in East Lyme, Connecticut. And we're about saving the Oswegatchie Hills above us and the Niantic River because they're one big system and they work together. My organization has been around for 10 years and we've been trying to keep the water clean for people, for recreation, as well as trying to preserve the rest of the Oswegatchie Hills.
See along here.
When we come down the river, when you're in a kayak, you can see kingfisher, you can see there's blue heron that are nesting along it, lots of osprey. They will fish right alongside you, they'll dive right in right alongside you if they see the fish. There is deer up in there, there's coyotes, there's all kinds of local wildlife living in the hills. It's exciting. It's fun to bring kids out because you never know what you're going to run into.
This is the last almost full mile of undeveloped land on saltwater frontage in the state of Connecticut. The coastal area management people and other people from the DEEP have told us that if the kind of development that has been proposed, some 1,300 units on this land that you can see behind us, if that were to be built, it could be the straw that breaks the camel's back on the river in terms of polluted runoff. The land goes up from the river to some 100-foot elevation, and it's all ledge up there, mostly all ledge. So rain runoff does not percolate nearly as well as it does in more of the upland forested regions. As I say, this land has never been developed. It goes back to when the Niantic Indians wintered over here and lived off the shellfish in the Niantic River. We're looking into that.
By the time I took my leave of Grimsy and Mosier-Dunn, I had a much better sense of the Niantic River and the challenges to its health. If you'd like to help, contact www.savetheriver-savethehills.org. I'm Tom Richardson for Boating Local. Thanks for watching.